I'm going to take this diagram and make it a little bit larger. We're told that we've got two overlapping rectangles and they each measure p by q. So this is also q and this is also p. Now the area of the overlap is what we're told about. And let me call it A. That's simply going to be q times q, or q squared. And then the overall area, well, it's going to be q times p plus q times p. But when I do that, I get this and I get this, and I've actually double counted the overlapping area. So I need to minus A, or minus q squared. I just used A temporarily to talk about the overlapping area. We're then told that the area of the overlap is exactly 1/4 of the total area of the figure. So I can write down that 1/4 of QP plus QP, so actually I can change that to 2QP minus Q squared is equal to the area of the overlap, Q squared. I'm then going to multiply through by 4. This looks quite complicated, but remember, I'm trying to get an equation involving P and Q because the ultimate aim is to get the ratio P to Q. So actually, there's a factor of Q in each term, and I can divide through by that. So it's not 0. You're allowed to divide through by it. And then I can add Q to both sides. So 2P is going to equal 5Q. And then finally, we're trying to get it as a ratio. So I can write P divided by Q is equal to 5 divided by 2. And that means that P to Q is actually 5 to 2. So the answer is going to be A. I just want to talk a little bit more about that, because it might not be obvious to you that we go from there to there. It might be. Um, but let's look at like a ratio where it happens. So 4 to 8 is actually, let's not do 4 to 8. 8 to 4 is the same as 2 to 1 because I can divide through by 4 here to make 2 to 1. And when you look at it, you can see that if you do 8 divided by 4, then that is equal to 2 divided by 1. So I can go from a ratio to a fraction. Like it is the same thing. If I take the left-hand side and divide by the right-hand side, for both ratios, it has to be equal. And that is actually is a way of solving equations sometimes involving ratios. Like if I had an x there, I can turn it into a fractional equation. But here I'm doing the opposite. If I have 8 over 4 equals 2 over 1, then I can do 8 to 4 is equal to 2 to 1. It's the same kind of idea that I've used here. I'm just trying to clarify it.